Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from our studios here at Kokomlemle in Accra at digital address GA0993341 on Joy 99.7 FM. It's also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by Telesol 4G. Now, it's been 208 days since Priscilla Blessing Bintum, the first of the 3 females believed to have been kidnapped in Takoradi, disappeared. The second, Ruth Love Kwesen, has been gone for 99 days, whilst the third, Priscilla Mantibia Crunchy, has been missing for 82 days. Here at Joy News, we join forces with families and friends to demand swift and consistent action from state security agencies on the hashtag Bring Back Our Tardy Girls. And coming up, Chairman of Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee demands an official probe of how the Christian Castle turned into the training ground for a party militia, DI. We've got details as ranking member on the committee reviews. The castle remains an important security installation, contrary to government's claims the facility is a tourist site.
As we speak, there are very important security installations manned from the Osu Christian Castle 24/7 by active military personnel. How can anybody say that the castle is not a security zone, it is a museum?
Stay for details as members of parliament join the campaign to disband party militias now. Attorney General Gloria Kufu justifies an amount of 67 million Ghana cedis paid construction pioneers as judgment debt in the year 2015.
Approval was given and the purpose was to pay a judgment debt.
As somebody who represents the people and knowing what this money can do, just throwing this money like that.
Mr. Chair, in our kind of business, these are normal occurrences.
We have sports,
where the chairman of the Ghana League Clubs Association, Kujo Fianu, supports a mandate extension for the Ghana FA Normalization Committee when their tenure expires at the end of this month.
And later we'll tell you the struggles of a family of 5 which lost its investment with a savings and loans company.
One evening, I got home only to see our face thrown out of the house. Out of shock, I started bleeding. I was rushed to the hospital, only to be told the baby was dead.
We'll tell you why Ama Adobia is faced with a troubling situation. All that and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. We settle for the details now, and Chairman of Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee, Sethi Champong, is demanding an official state probe of how the Christian Castle, a seat of government annex, became the training ground for party militia group DI. A Joy News documentary review, the group claiming affiliation to the governing NPP has been training at the castle for months. The expose has triggered a call for government to work faster to disband party militias in the country. But the presidential direction for the NPP and the NDC to sit and talk is yet to materialize. Fifi Kumsing has more.
A violent by-election and a fatal shooting of an NDC man by a militia group in Kumasi trigger a presidential call to disband such groups.
Grandchildren will not forgive us if we were to compromise our peace and stability. I will not permit that to happen under my watch. Our forebears paid too high a price with their blood and toil to bequeath to us this beautiful nation.
So it's been established both the NDC and the MPP have militia groups affiliated to them, at least as claimed by this member of the pro-MPP group, the Invincible Forces.
MPP, they have Delta Force Invisible and the I in the MPP. And NDC too, they have Azuka Boys, the Ox, and the Motor Riders, and the Bashaka. They are almost 6 or 8.
Following the call by the president, however, there's been very little action, except mostly the exchange of letters between the NDC chairman Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo and the president of the Republic, Nana Akufo-Addo. The NDC wrote demanding a third party be appointed to mediate and moderate the talks to disband party militias.
We will avail ourselves of the opportunity whenever, at the pleasure of Your Excellency, and at a venue convenient for the purpose, unquote.
But the president wrote back, first dismissing the suggestion and insisting on his conviction about what parties should sit and talk. Just the MPP and the NDC, he believes. After a few days, the NDC has returned with a detailed explanation as to why more people and institutions must be engaged in this all-crucial discussion.
They want the discussions to include all political parties, civil society organizations, representatives of the media, the military, police and other security agencies, as well as any other relevant stakeholders. They suggest the National Peace Council be appointed as a mediator for such a meeting.
Their reasons boasted by the Joy News documentary Militia in the Heart of the City that revealed the presence of a militia group at the Christiansborg Castle. In the heat of the controversy, the Pentecostal and Charismatic Council says it's worried about the president's response to the revelations so far. Chairman Reverend Paul Frimpong-Manso.
The responses too were not the best to me, saying that at least it has opened our eyes. The state apparatus, the state machinery, the government should be up and doing. Even though they may not be a vigilante group or whatever, we can still not be justified to have those people being there. And I believe that it should be investigated and those people involved should be punished.
A call to action, and a good action for that matter, to end a worrying epoch in Ghana's history when hoodlums and scoundrels armed themselves in the name of protecting the ballot box.
Fifi Kumsin with that report. Now, the National Peace Council says it is worried that the substantial matter of disbanding political party militias has been put on the back burner as the NPP and the NDC trade letters. It's been 3 weeks since President Akufo-Addo directed his party, the NPP, and the opposition NDC to meet and find ways of disbanding their militia groups. But what has happened so far is only exchange of letters between the two parties. Chairman of the Peace Council, Right Reverend Emmanuel Asante, expressed concern about the development in the following interview with my colleague Benis Abubeidu Lansa on News Desk on the Joy News channel this morning. We'll bring you that interview shortly. But we can listen to Chairman of Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee, Sethi Champong, who is expecting a state probe soon.
These are good times. The Lamas admit that it is useful that we are having this today and that we know that things were happening. But not to say that the security apparatus were asleep. At least the conversation demonstrates that some attempts were made and eventually they were successful, and we just have to ensure that nothing occurs in the future. Post whatever the executive discharges, it is upon us that we will have to be the yardstick to pretend on whatever they had done to see if it went well or it went wrong.
This undercover probe into the Castle militia group, is this something that your committee is interested in?
So that's why I said it's a very interesting matter.
Will you look into it?
Certainly, why not?
When you say look, I'm not paying lip service.
Why must I pay lip service when I know that it is a matter which is crucial to us?
Chairman of Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee, Sethi Champong, speaking on PM Express. Now, since the broadcast of the Joy News documentary, government has said the Osu Castle is only a tourist site. But ranking member on the committee, James Agauga, has reviewed that the castle is hosting some of government's most important security installations.
As we speak, there are very important security installations manned from the Osu Christiansborg Castle 24/7 by active military personnel. As we speak, AFRICOM converged there with our Navy and navies from sister countries for briefings, which eventually would result in joint, training naval training exercises. I don't want to disclose the times and dates, but I'm saying that if those who manage our security are not shy to make statements like the Osu Castle is no longer a security zone, I would be constrained to make some of those revelations. I shouldn't be doing that for the sake of our national security. It's wrong. But I'm saying that they should be responsible enough and make the right admissions when it is appropriate to do so. How can anybody say that the castle is not a security zone, it is a museum?
James Agauga is a former Deputy Interior Minister and also the ranking member on the Defence and Interior Committee. Now, in Accra, the issue about party militia and specifically Joy News investigations on the I militia group has become a topical issue in the media. But how far has this conversation gone? We've been speaking to people in Kumasi on whether they have a keen interest in the subject.
One thing that struck me most in the Manasseh's expose was that there was this guy, I don't know if it was the commander of the group. He came out to say even the president asked about us, and he also commend us for the work they are doing, which is very bad. We came out to say we should disband it. Now, why?
We can disband it, but I think what is also very important is education. Trying as much as possible to educate the Zongo youth and creating employment for them, more or less, yes. Mm-hmm.
And then the recent discovery of people within the castle who were, engaging in military training and all that. Have you heard it? What do you make of it?
I've heard it, and even though I lean a bit towards NPP, but I think this time it's very wrong for them to have done something like that. Yes.
The solution is not about asking them to stop whatever they are doing, but it's much about joblessness.
So the talk is just not in Accra. We've heard views from Kumasi as well. And as Joy News leads the campaign, #disband party militia now, some MPs have joining. Listen.
The campaign is well placed, which is designed to rid our country of political party vigilantism and must be supported by all. And I think that as a party, the NDC has not shied away from the issue of disbanding party militias, if you like, or warlordism, etc. Let's not play with this particular exercise. It's good we've started having the conversation.
Enough is enough. It's about time that we have processes of such civil processes without any kind of such vigilantism and then militia issues or whatever. I stand here with my president and I raise up my right hand to say that I will support the Joy News campaign for disbandment of the vigilantism. And then this government, which I'm part, we will make sure that we have it done by supporting your campaign for the disbandment of vigilantism.
Some MPs there joining #disband party militias. Now, you're still listening to the Midday News. You're on Joy 99.7 FM. Let's head to Parliament now, because the Attorney General, Gloria Kufuor, has justified an amount of 67 million Ghana cedis paid construction pioneers as judgment debt in the year 2015. Ms. Kufuor told Parliament's Public Accounts Committee that the payment was effected following due process. The transaction is captured in the 2016 Auditor General's report as lacking cabinet approval. Deputy Ranking Member on the committee, Mohammed Tufera, asked that the AG clarifies the matter.
67 million, and that sum was paid in two tranches on the 20th February 2015 to Pioneer Construction Limited. The auditors had an issue with this, and the issue was that we did not obtain cabinet approval before effecting those payments.
Chair, I believe once again that perhaps it's a matter of availability of records at the time of when the audit was conducted. But I have a decision note, a cabinet decision note dated 29 July 2013, giving £5,303 94 pence. So approval was given. Again, the money arose out of an international arbitration at the ICC between construction pioneers and the government of Ghana. So, yes, approval was given, and the purpose was to pay a judgment debt.
As somebody who represents the people and knowing this, what this money can do in my constituency, just throwing this money like that.
Mr. Chair, in our kind of business, these are normal occurrences. The arbitration was about work that construction pioneers had done for the country. The country was resisting payment because the amount involved were being challenged. As part of the agreement, they were entitled to go to arbitration to claim what they say is their due. So this is arising out of a claim for work done. It had to do with the construction of certain roads in our country. So it is not damages paid as such.
Let's speak to my colleague Joseph Akable. He has further details on this issue. Joseph, we understand a ranking member on the committee, Kofi Ejekum, however, suggested that the document showing cabinet approval presented by the AG could have been prepared after the transaction and backdated. What did the AG say to that?
She explains that could not have been the case because her office minuted on the document when they received it, and the document was received in August of 2013. But she believes that it appears the record keeping was what may have made it difficult for that document to be available at the time of the auditing.
Mr. Chair, I think that it is again the availability of documents at the time of the audit. This was received at the ministry on about the 1st of August 2013. The decision note of cabinet was received in our office on the 1st of August of 2013. So yes, it had been received, but perhaps it was not readily available. Perhaps it goes to record keeping, because we have different registries. It's very difficult to track. We have tried to overcome that by using the computers now to record the mails that come, so that it's now much more easy for us to trace these documents.
You heard the Attorney General, Gloria Kufo, before the Parliament Accounts Committee a while ago. You also heard from my colleague Joseph Akable. Let's return to our earlier story now and hear from Most Reverend Emmanuel Asante, who's expressed concern about the latest development. He's worried that the substantial matter of disbanding political party militias has been put on the back burner as the NPP and the NDC trade letters.
Once the two parties have agreed. Since that time, we have also received a letter from the president, a letter that everybody knows, suggesting that the two parties themselves, should be able to meet without arbiters. We have already written to the NDC and also to the president, indicating our preparedness, our readiness to mediate, should it become necessary for that to be done. At the moment, it seems to me that we are trading letters. Whilst we're doing that, the issue is not being addressed. We are very much concerned about that. And the NPC is ever prepared. We are ever ready. We will do the best that we can covertly to try and see if we can get the two agree on something that will enable us address that issue. There are so many things that we cannot discuss in public that we have in mind, that we are seeking to do covertly. Some of these things, it's not a matter of discussing such things in public before you go to the elders and all that. So we are concerned as you are, and we want to get it going. We will do the best that we can to address the issue. You already know that even before the Ayawaso Ogon issue, the Peace Council, together with the NCCE, EDT, had already conveyed a meeting involving the various political parties.
Exactly.
We have dealt with the issue. We were going to issue a document and send the report to the president on the basis of some of the studies that have been conducted by CDD. You know that at that meeting, I think your representatives were there.
You heard the Most Reverend Emmanuel Asante, Chairman of the Peace Council, speaking to my colleague Benes Zabubedu on Joy News Desk on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. This is the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Our top stories: Chairman of Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee demands an official probe of how the Christian Bowl Castle turned into the training ground for a party militia. We gave you details and also heard from the ranking member on the committee, revealing that the castle remains an important security installation, contrary to government claims the facility is a tourist site. And still to come, the struggles of a family of 5 which lost its investment with a savings and loans company.
One evening, I got home only to see our face thrown out of the house. Out of shock, I started bleeding. I was rushed to the hospital only to be told the baby was dead.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Let's do sports now. Ridwan has the latest.
Yes, MFR. Now, the Ghana Football Association Normalization Committee is set to be handed a mandate extension by FIFA when their initial 6-month contract expires at the end of the month. The 4-member committee has not achieved any of its core mandates of reviewing the FA statutes to ensure compliance with the requirements of FIFA and CAF, which would have paved way for the organization of an election for a GFA executive committee. Kudjo Fianu is chairman of the Ghana League Clubs Association, GALCA, and he supports the idea for Dr. Kofi Amoah and his team to get an extension in office.
They begin an assignment to normalize Ghana football are going into some challenges. And I believe that the employer is the right person to do the assessment. But as an industry player, I would want to say that I would have loved to see the work of the organization coming to an end at the end of March. But Ghana is not an airline on its own. We have seen normalization committees working for 2 years, some beyond that. I will only pray that they will not stay longer than necessary.
You heard chairman of the Ghana League Clubs Association, Kudjo Fianu, in that interview, MFA.
Thank you very much, Ridwan. Now let's head to the central region because academic activities have been disrupted at the University of Education, Winneba, following protests by some students over the dismissal of some of their lecturers. The rioting students have blocked some roads on campus and are demanding reinstatement of those lecturers that have been dismissed.
The crowd you see is from Hypex department. We are students from the Hypex department. One of our lecturers was sacked. We're not happy about it. We wanted to address the issue, but the way we started, we realized that they don't want to take the normal way. So we want to show our displeasure to the administration that we are not happy about the lecture that is taken out, because that is the backbone of the department.
So why are you now demonstrating and all of that?
We are not demonstrating.
You had some students there. Let's speak to Richard Kojo Nyako. He's our correspondent there. Richard, give us a brief background on this issue. What led to the dismissal of these lecturers?
Well, Professor Mauta Boke was the vice chancellor of this university, and then the university council dismissed him, as well as 5 or 6 other people. And then lately, one of them also went to court. And then the university set up a disciplinary committee. They said that it was a disciplinary matter. They don't understand why a staff of the university should take the university to court. And one other person was also sacked. And they have been counting about 30 staff of the University of Education, Winneba, have been sacked. And the students are protesting why there is an unfair treatment of their lecturers. And very soon they will also be victimized. And so that is why they are protesting today.
But has a calm restored to the campus, you would say, because earlier we're told about some rioting on the campus?
They are still rioting. They are at the advantage of the administration, and occasionally they will hoot at any university officials that will walk in here. Currently, the university officials, the Omahine of Ifutu traditional area, national UTAC executives are locked up in a meeting. The students are here chanting war songs. They are clad in red apparel, and they want their lecturers reinstated.
Richard Kojo Nyako there following events on the University of Education Winneba campus. Now, the Narcotic Control Board says it has discovered abuse of substances beyond tramadol and other known drugs. Officials in the Ashanti region cite inhaling of glue, insecticides and other chemicals by the youth to get high. Prince Apia has been investigating the new trend and now reports.
Chemicals like petrol, insecticides, Tipex, or we call it correcting fluid. The flames coming out of pit latrines and glue, yes. You know, the scent of it is also very strong. People have started abusing them. Those are some of the new trends that we have started recording, which are very worrying.
That is the voice of the regional narco boss with such a revelation. So we decided to investigate and understand the extent of the situation. Here is one of the communities we are told are hideouts for youth who abuse some of these substances. I meet Kofi and Akwesi, both obvious testimonies of the weird abuse.
Some of the substances we take are the shoemaker's glue and blood tonic. It intoxicates us and makes us eat a lot. If I inhale it, I feel like I've taken alcohol.
So what is his motivation?
Yeah, driver's meet. I
am a driver's mate. I become very active when I take the glue. I am able to rush the passengers, help them with their luggage, and get them to board our vehicle.
For
Kofi, however, his immunity to these challenges goes high when he is on glue.
When we buy the shoemaker's glue, we slightly open the lid and take a deep sniff, then close it for the inhaled chemical to work on us. We repeat the process with alcohol until it finishes.
Akwesi's experience is different.
When inhaled, you can walk for long hours without getting tired or feeling the scorch of the sun. The hawkers from the north introduced us to it.
Head of Herbal and Food Supplement at the Food and Drugs Authority, Emmanuel Yao Kwating, explains the authority has no mandate to regulate the use of such substances. The glue is not part of the things regulated by the Food and Drugs Authority, so we cannot really do much about its regulation.
Rather sad situation. By the Bank of Ghana in November 2018 review that more than 200 microfinance institutions and savings and loans companies were distressed and unable to either pay up returns promised clients or in some instances even pay up the principals of customers. This situation has left many customers of these financial institutions in a difficult situation. In this story, Nancy Emefa-Dradosi speaks to one customer of Goldman Savings and Loans who narrates how she has had to beg for food to feed herself and her 3 children after her investment got locked up.
For Amma Adobia's difficult situation, she was operating a drinking bar in this kiosk made of bamboo. Though life was not at its best, Amma and her husband could at least afford a 3-square meal for the family. Within a year of operation, Amma and the husband had managed to raise 2,000 Ghana cedis, which she invested with Goldman Savings and Loans. My husband and I worked so hard to save 2,000 Ghana cedis. Life has been tough ever since the bank decided not to pay back my money.
Until 15th no so
Amma is frustrated. For now, she lives in this uncompleted story building. She's been living in this structure for the past 2 weeks after she was evicted from her rented single room. One evening, I got home only to see our things thrown out of the house. Out of shock, I started bleeding. I was rushed to the hospital only to be told the baby was dead. But even now, Amma has the next 2 days to pack out of this building as the new owners are likely to arrive. I didn't have hope. We spent the entire night at the bar. A customer came to me in the morning and gave us a place to live for a week.
The story of Fikria Dubia. We have contacted the Goldman Savings and Loans, so they say though the company is facing liquidity challenges, they are working to pay back Amma's money. From one sad story to another here on the Midday News, and we are learning of the death of the former chairman of the NDC, Dr. Kwabena Ajayi, and my colleague Fifi Kumsing joins us in studio with some messages that are already pouring in.
Yeah, lots of them, MFR, but let me read that of the president now. And he tweeted saying, sad to hear the passing of Dr. Kwabena Ajayi. He was a friend whom I met in the second parliament of the Fourth Republic. He was then majority leader and gave good leadership to the House. Man of strong opinions. He was a formidable opponent, and I enjoyed very much our interactions. His relationship with our boss, the late great J.H. Mensah, then Minority Leader provided a big boost for the work of Parliament and for the advancement of our democracy. He will be missed. My condolences to his party, the National Democratic Congress, and to his family. May his soul rest in perfect peace.
From all of us here, may his soul indeed rest in perfect peace. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am MFA Pau. Have a good afternoon.